Hell yeah! Let's party all through the night, girls. Thank you for helping me escape from my dad. He's so grumpy and never lets me do anything fun. You're welcome, sweetie. Your dad was acting like an evil goblin. At that moment, my friend May's furious father appeared out of nowhere. Oops, that was awkward. An evil goblin. Me? May, we're leaving. She's not going anywhere with you. May needs to let loose. How dare an airhead like you tell me how to raise my daughter? That was it. The fun was over. Our parents fought like cats and dogs every time they met. You're probably wondering what it was you just saw. Let's rewind just a little bit and go back to the start. Hi, I'm Norma. My mom looked much younger than her age, so people often thought I was her sister. No wonder, just look at us. To be honest, she had a bunch of plastic surgeries. She asked me to keep it a secret though, so don't tell anyone. My mom didn't just look like my friend. She acted accordingly, so she never told me no or set any rules. We even went partying together. She had dozens of admirers. I had long since lost count. However, mom rejected everyone. She was looking for someone with deep pockets, if you know what I mean. My best friend May lived next door to us. Her father was the exact opposite of my mom. Mr. Simmons was overly protective of his daughter. Of course, he was always fighting with my mom because their views on life and parenting were too different. We got flowers from your admirers by mistake again, Nancy. When will it end? Blah, blah, blah. Sod off, Mr. Buzzkill. Sometimes I think our parents are wackos. I'm 100% sure of it. One day, May's dad grounded her for the whole weekend again. That sucked because my friend and I had already bought tickets to a concert. However, mom figured out how to help us. She knocked on our neighbor's door and distracted Mr. Simmons so that May could sneak out the window. The three of us went to the concert. Unfortunately, my friend's father found us soon. You already saw what happened then at the beginning of the video. That incident was the last straw for Mr. Simmons, and he forbid May from being friends with me because of what mom did. We kept in touch anyway. However, if you think that that was the worst thing to happen to us, you are severely mistaken. It all began on my mom's birthday. She said she didn't really want to celebrate aging, so she didn't. Even I didn't know how old she really was. Can you believe it? I'm still 18 at heart, sweetie. That day, her numerous admirers were the only ones who sent her gifts because we had no other relatives. However, I knew that my mother's dad, my grandfather, was still alive. So one day, I asked her about him. Mom told me that Grandpa became a hippie musician in his youth. Now, he traveled around the world in a trailer and gave concerts. We fell out of touch before you were born. This is the only thing he left me. She handed me a poster of Grandpa holding a guitar. His stage name was Forever Young Joe. So that was why Mom was so touchy about her age. That evening, she went somewhere and came back beaming with happiness. Oh, Norma, I met my one and only. Oswald is coming over for dinner tomorrow. The problem was, that man never dated women with kids. So, Mom asked me to pretend I was her younger sister and call her Nancy. By the way, Oswald thinks I'm in my early 20s, so keep it quiet. As expected, Mom's one and only turned out to be obscenely rich. He was also old enough to be my grandfather, and he looked like he'd seen the dinosaurs go extinct. Still, I did as my mom asked me to, and the dinner went without a hitch. Nancy, you stole my heart. I think I'm in love. That romantic old man almost lost his false teeth while kissing Mom's hands. Ew. Soon, Mom told me some terrible news. Sweetie, pack your bags. We're moving into Oswald's mansion. Isn't it amazing? No, it wasn't amazing. Oswald lived in a neighboring town. I didn't want to leave May behind. My friend was gutted as well. I'll miss you like crazy. Mr. Simmons was over the moon though. I've never been so happy. When we arrived at the mansion, I was in for another unpleasant surprise. The surprise's name was Henry. He was Oswald's grandson and the nastiest guy I'd ever met. Henry really wanted us to leave. I see right through you, gold diggers. Your sister has a crush on my grandfather's wallet. My sister? Yeah, Nancy? Oh, right, my sister. Yeah. Henry did everything to turn my life in the mansion into a living hell. He made fun of me, hid my things, and did everything he could to ruin my mood. Where is my phone? I didn't hear the alarm and now I'm late for school. I don't know. Did you look in the trash? Did you throw it away? You could always pack your things and go home with your sister if you don't like it here. Ugh. I'd love to. Unfortunately, my mom was completely in love and didn't notice that I was uncomfortable at all. I could only complain to May. We texted each other every day. My friend wasn't doing all that great either. Now, her dad wouldn't even let her out of the house. After yet another fight with Henry, I decided to talk to my mom. Nancy, I don't like it here. Can we go back home? Norma, don't be silly. We're rolling in money. I know what will cheer you up. She took out a stack of cash, clearly a gift from Oswald, and shoved it at me. Take these and have fun, sweetie. Don't bother me and don't tell anyone our secret. I'm going sailing with Oswald. Love you. Great. Now Mom was paying me for my silence. I crumpled the bills and was about to throw them at her back. But then Mike suddenly appeared in front of me. He worked in the mansion as a gardener. What are you doing? Playing basketball with a money ball. Can't you see? I snapped at him because I was in a terrible mood. Luckily, Mike turned out to be an easygoing guy and just laughed in response. You're funny. I like that. He invited me to hang out with him and his friends in the evening. Well, I didn't have any plans, so I agreed. Later, we met up in the city. I really wanted to play laser tag, and I dragged my new friends toward the attraction. But for some reason, they hesitated. Norma, I thought we'd just go on a walk. We don't have the money for something like that. I had the stack of crumpled bills in my pocket though, so I said I'd pay for everyone, and we had a great time. Later, I treated everyone to pizza. That's when I ran into Henry. Why are you wasting my grandfather's money on these nobodies? Sod off, Henry. Don't ruin our appetite. I didn't listen to Henry, and I kept hanging out with my new friends every night. At some point, I even caught myself thinking that I liked Mike. So I called my friend to tell her all about it. Living here isn't all that bad. If Mike and I become an item, I'd be happy to stay at Oswald's mansion. Henry overheard our conversation and started to badmouth Mike. Wake up, Norma. He's only hanging out with you for your money. Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, he would say that. I ignored him. Henry said he would prove it and left. Soon, he came back and showed me a video on his phone. He had secretly filmed his talk with Mike. Come on, it's just us here. Admit that you think Norma is a gullible fool and only hang out with her because of her money. Bro, you got me. Norma's not my type at all. Henry put the phone away and smiled smugly. See? That little bastard! He's gonna regret this. I got back at Mike, but I still felt terrible, and I didn't want to stay there any longer. I called May, and she came up with a great idea. You need to break your mom and Oswald up. After that, you'll have no choice but to come back home. That was brilliant. I knew exactly what to do. At the family dinner, I revealed my mother's secret and told Oswald that we weren't really sisters, and Mom just looked young thanks to countless plastic surgeries. Don't listen to her, dear. My sister Norma has an overactive imagination. Mom denied everything and even showed her boyfriend fake documents that proved she was only 23 years old. Of course, Oswald didn't believe me, but someone else did. So Nancy is actually your mom and she's lying to Grandpa? I'll help you expose her. I thought you hated me. Why would you help me? I'm not as bad as I seem. Yeah, right? I found that hard to believe. Still, I could use some help, so I agreed. Later, I called May and the three of us brainstormed. We need to find someone to confirm that your mom is lying. Who knows how old she really is? All of a sudden, I had a brilliant idea. We needed my grandpa. I found his poster and I showed it to May and Henry. This is Mom's dad. We need him to convince Oswald that she's lying. Henry and May liked my plan. All that was left to do was go out and find Grandpa. I Googled Forever Young Joe and found out he'd soon be performing at a rock festival in my hometown. Awesome! I'm going to a festival. I'll go with you. May said that she was sick of being grounded and missed our adventures, so she decided to sneak out and join us. I knew Mom wouldn't care if I left for a couple of days, especially since she was mad at me for revealing her secret. However, I still left her a note so she wouldn't worry. Later, Henry, May, and I bought tickets and got on a bus. Ready for a road trip? Let's go. Henry was weirdly nice on the way to the concert. He shared his snacks, told us interesting stories, and even let me take a nap on his shoulder. Maybe he really wasn't as bad as he seemed. May's worried father kept calling her and trying to find out where she was. I even felt a little jealous. After all, Mom had never worried about me like that. We finally got to the festival. It was held in the open air. I had never seen so many people gathered in one place. How were we supposed to find Grandpa in this crowd? Luck was on our side. As soon as we heard that Forever Young Joe was about to perform, we walked toward the stage. At some point, my phone fell out of my pocket. There was no way to get it back. There were too many people blocking the way. Of course, I was upset, but we had to keep going. After the performance, we found Grandpa, who was signing autographs. He turned out to be a cool hippie and was way over the moon when he found out I was his granddaughter. Why had Mom fallen out with him? I told Grandpa about my problem, and I asked him to come with us and tell Oswald the truth about Mom. No problem. I can't wait to see my daughter. Have some fun. I still need to wrap up here. Let's meet at the bus stop in an hour. However, an hour passed, then 2, but Grandpa was nowhere to be seen, so we found him again. He was playing the guitar and singing for his fans. It was clear he wasn't planning on leaving anytime soon. Have you forgotten about your promise, Grandpa? Right. Sorry, Norma. I lost track of time. We dragged him to the bus stop, but whenever I turned my back, Grandpa would start running away or start dancing without a care in the world. We spent all day chasing after that old man. In the end, I got fed up with it and pushed an advertising stand out of anger. It fell on someone's guitar and it broke. Oops, I apologized, and Henry even paid for the damaged instrument, but the rockers were pissed off anyway. Metallica signed that guitar. It's priceless. Oh dear. It seemed we had messed with the wrong guys. I had no idea what to do. The security guards were busy, and Grandpa was having fun surrounded by his fans. He didn't even look in our direction. I squeezed my eyes shut and suddenly heard a familiar voice. Hey, evil goblins! Get away from the kids before I introduce you to my stilettos! Mom came to the rescue. She was waving her shoes around and Mr. Simmons was towering next to her. Get lost if you don't want any problems with the police. The guys who surrounded us got scared when they saw the adults and quickly left. Our parents told us how they found us. It turned out that Mr. Simmons had been terribly worried about May, so he called my mom. She told him we were just having fun at the festival, but also grew worried when I stopped answering the phone. So they teamed up and came to the festival. Even though May's dad told her that she was grounded for the stunt she pulled, he still hugged her tight. You dummy. I was worried out of my mind. Mom asked me why I came to the festival. I guiltily told her about my plan to find Grandpa and I nodded in his direction. Forever Young Joe was having fun nearby. Mom was furious. Not at me, but at her dad. She stormed up to him and loudly scolded him. You were a bad father, but you've become a bad grandfather. Why didn't you protect your granddaughter from those thugs? I had better things to do. Grandpa shrugged his shoulders and kept partying. Now it was clear why Mom had broke off all contact with him. After all, he acted like an irresponsible child. Mr. Simmons agreed to drive us to the mansion. Mom decided to have a heart-to-heart with me on our way there. Sweetie, I'm sorry I asked you to pretend you're my sister. I don't want to be like my father. Now I see that you need a mom and not a friend. I'm going to change, I promise. We hugged and I forgave her for everything. After dropping us off, May and her father drove away, and we walked into the mansion. Oswald was waiting for us there. The end. Or is it? Henry suddenly turned on a video on his phone. He had filmed our conversation in the car. Can you believe it? Look at what I filmed, Grandpa. They really are a mother and daughter. This woman lied to you. Send her away. I should be your sole heir again. What? So that was why Henry had tried to chase us away and helped me expose my mom's lies? He was just afraid he'd have to share the inheritance with us. I wasn't mad at him. I was just upset because I thought Henry was a good guy and I considered him my friend. Oswald turned red with anger and demanded an explanation. This time, Mom didn't try to lie. It's true. Norma is my daughter, and I'm actually almost 40. So what? A child is a deal breaker for you, huh? Whatever. I choose to be a good mother. We proudly packed up and moved back home. I was glad that life went back to normal. I lived next door to my best friend again, and I went to my old school. However, something did change. May and I soon realized that our parents had stopped fighting. On the contrary, now they were constantly flirting and visiting each other. If our parents get married, we'll become sisters. Sounds great. They'd be a great couple. Your dad is too serious and my mom is a bit too carefree. Together, they'd be the perfect parents. What do you think? Would we be a good family?